Welcome to the Penguin Podcast, brought to you by Penguin Facilities Management.
Can I ask you to introduce yourself, Laurence? Not that it needs an introduction, just so that the people that don't know you,
Okay.
will get to know you.
Okay. So my name is Laurence Allen. I'm the CEO of a company called Spotty Cow Media. We are publishers of This Week in FM, which is a digital platform for the facilities, property and workplace sector. Launched in 2012. And it's my first experience into the digital world, having been a magazine publisher for 30 years previously.
Yeah, no, so big changes. So what first drew you into facilities management? It's obviously your background is publishing, and media. When your background is much further than 2012, back into the 90s and the 80s. Yeah. What drew you into facilities management?
Yeah, a bit of background. I had delusions of grandeur when I was at school. I was going to be a RAF fighter pilot, evidently. Well, that didn't turn out. So I ended up being an advertising salesperson for a small publishing company in Croydon. And we won the contract to publish the magazine at the time for the Property Services Agency that was based out of Whitgift in Croydon. I spent 18 months, 2 years working on that particular title. And done quite well. Didn't quite know what I was doing. I was 21, 22 at the time. Always had a smile on my face. And the next minute I was approached and I was headhunted to join a small company based in Forest Hill. And they were a small company. It was one other person at the time. I went over there to join a guy called Robert Dodd and as a sales guy. And we launched a cleaning title, a cleaning publication. And then on the back of that, we launched about 4 or 5 other magazines over a 5-year period. And we eventually got acquired by Robert Maxwell. Maxwell Business Communications was the name of the company. I went across as publishing director to lead a portfolio of titles. As you can appreciate, Mike, I'm not really a corporate person, bit of a maverick. So I decided to give myself a red card after 6 months and set up... with a co-director, a partner, of our own business, and we launched a cleaning publication, very, very successful publication. It was the biggest publication in Europe at the time, and I sort of fell into the FM. I went on holiday. I was in Vegas at the Hilton, and me being me, I got talking to the cleaning operatives, who was on to clean the floors on my floors, and was talking to him just about the work and the American market as such. What did he do? He introduced me to his manager introduced me to one of the directors, blah blah blah. The next minute, I'm having dinner with a CEO of a very, very large American FM company. I didn't know what FM was.
Yeah.
So as soon as we got back to the UK, I'd done my research. There was not an FM title. There was a premises and maintenance magazine. There was different maintenance publications. There was a magazine called Clean and Maintenance at the time. But nothing with FM. So I happened to launch the first FM magazine in 1990. I was a corporate member of the BIFM, British Institute of Facilities Managers, which has now morphed into the IWFM as we know. So I was a corporate member. And the rest is history. So I launched that in 1990. 30 odd years publishing that particular title. Not a practicing FM, don't profess to be. I'm a publisher. So and it's been very, very good. The industry's been very good to me. I've seen some good times and bad times. But that's how I got into the world of FM.
That's an interesting story. So over them years, tell me about a memorable moment. What has been,
What I can actually say on camera?
That you can actually say on camera, We'll talk about the other bits afterwards.
Memorable. Well, I'll tell you something. What I've seen is coming back to my world, is the advent of and the demise of exhibitions. Over the years, when I first came into the industry. I can recall we had exhibitions at Olympia, etc. Now it seems that the exhibition world it's got smaller. It seems to be more restricted now.
Yeah.
In terms, the industry, my work might be, but the industry does need an event. It needs a national event. We have exhibitions here, the Design Centre. We have exhibitions in Birmingham. We've lost the big exhibition at Excel.
Yeah.
They've pulled away. So I think that's one of the things that swings to mind from my aspect of being sort of in the marketing side of things.
Yeah.
But as far as the industry is concerned, obviously a lot of consolidation. Mighty buying MCore. There's a lot of the bigger players are getting bigger.
Yes.
That's it, and that seems to me to be the trend of the industry.
Yeah.
The industry, it's like any industry. You have your good, you have your bad,
Yeah.
you have your rogues.
But the landscape is changing dramatically over
very
this
much
last 5 or 10
Where
years.
everything now is becoming, is it data-led maintenance, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
data-led maintenance
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, if you don't have
smart
data,
buildings.
then you're not going to
there's
exist.
still companies out there who are surviving, who are still doing work the old, shall we say, the old school way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's exciting times for the industry.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, I think
Yeah.
it is exciting times for the industry. For the ones that get it right,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great
Yeah,
for them.
and them who are getting it right, and them exciting times. Yeah, what has gotten your attention the most? What's made you sit up and go, wow?
We were looking when I launched This Week in FM. I wanted to bring the whole of the industry together as convergence. So when I was working at the time with the FMA, the Facilities Management Association, no longer around, and a good friend of mine called Chris Hall, who's the chairman, he said, other people that always make me look good. It's not me. It's other people that make me look good. So I had a conversation with Chris Hall at the time, and Chris was saying to me, this industry's changing. Now this is 12, 15 years ago. Sustainability is coming in. IT is coming in. He said, I see a time where IT companies are going to be doing FM. Yeah? Now, to a degree, that's now
starting to happen
into effect. So I think we were at the head of the curve, really. So we saw what was going on with the industry. The workplace well-being was becoming more apparent, etc.
Yeah.
So to come back to your question, I've always been, everyone's talking now about ESG. To a degree, we was covering that 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So at this, I would say there's nothing that really, on all honesty, nothing really stands out. I can put my hand on my heart and say, nothing really stands out to me. It's data-led maintenance. Okay, great. Everyone's jumping on the back. I know companies that were doing that 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah, So they just weren't shouting about it.
They weren't. No. And it was a little bit of cynicism at the time, or scepticism at the time. I'm not going to name any companies, but I could. There was one company who they done superbly well, built a business up to 60 million turnovers, sold it on the back of independent business.
Yeah.
On the back of data-led maintenance.
Inventory. It's the asset data, isn't it? And that's what any FM company at this moment in time, or any engineering company, if they're not collecting that asset data and that asset life cycle data, then they're going to fail very, very quickly.
Yeah, I've got some really good friends in the industry, and they make their living doing asset tagging, asset collection.
Yeah.
I've got one guy in particular who should have been over in Denmark today working for a large service provider.
Yeah.
Doing that. So
yeah, and as an FM, I always, I would say I always struggle. I used to struggle that I would go to a new sales opportunity and I would say to them, absolutely brilliant. I would listen to their problems and then I would ask the question, do you have your asset data log? And I would say 60 to 70% of the clients that we talk to don't have that data.
I agree.
And that's where the conversation starts. And that to me still surprises me when I'm actually going to blue chip companies
yeah.
who actually don't know what assets they own.
I had an opportunity last year from one of my contacts who rang me and basically said that we've got 13 bakeries in the country that are going out to tender, massive, and a big contract, 13 bakeries, national contract, massive contract. But they've gone and they didn't know where the assets were. But the majority of the assets, they didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
Again, but it's very basic. Well, it's basic, isn't it? It's what you would surely. It's what I don't know where my. If I was running a building, I'd want to know where my assets are.
Yeah.
But as I say, I'm not a practicing FM. We report about it, we write about it, etc.
Yeah.
But I've never been crawling hands on my knees in a boiler room, and I don't profess to want to.
No.
So yeah,
But,
so that's,
but you would expect
yeah, of course, yeah.
the building manager, owner to understand what assets they would expect.
And the context I have, we don't often have a laugh and a joke about it because they can't. They've got it's good work for them.
Yeah.
But
They're getting paid to collect information. Yeah. We've got a gas client at refineries, that kind of stuff. We've got 33 sites that we're doing exactly the same at this moment in time.
Yeah. My two contacts who do asset tagging would love me to give them a plug, but I'm not going to, Mike.
I know they are. From your perspective, then, Laurence, as a commentator.
I'm a commentator. Yeah.
What emerging FM topics do you think will define the next decade? We've spoke about data. We've spoke about sustainability, but are they going to define FM?
I think they're starting to now, aren't they? They are. It's at the beginning of the journey, so I think they're good. But they're here to stay.
Yeah.
Obviously, dare I say, AI. That's here. Everyone. If you're not using AI in some capacity, should be, or I'm sure you are. But people should be.
People probably don't realise sometimes they're using.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. But I think AI's got a big role to play. I say AI people. This is a people industry. It's a people industry. So I
How do you teach AI culture?
Yeah, I'm really interested in what's coming to the market. That's going to be taking the place of people. All right, we've got robotics now. We've got robots. Mighty's got their robots. I've been sent through recently, and I will name names. BT Snow Hill building in Birmingham. They've got the first robotic. Is it barista? Barista. The coffee
yeah.
They've got the first robotic barista actually in the in the cafeteria area.
Yeah.
And evidently people love it.
Yeah.
Evidently
people
love it.
It's a gimmick. We had here at the lighting expo back in November.
Yes.
And we had a robotic bartender.
Who
could
the cocktails,
making the cocktails, pulling beer, absolutely everything. It was a puller. Well, this I received the press release I received this week. I'm not going to name names, but it came from. And I thought, well, that's interesting what they're doing, and I've read the reports, etc., and the comments that were being made by their staff, and I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest with you, but it's the way the market's going, isn't it? And we talk about obviously AI, robotics, that kind of stuff. Is that a way of we've got a work stroke engineer shortage?
Yeah.
Is that the solution? Do you think that is?
I think it's got to be, moving forward, for sure. It's got to be, hasn't it? We've seen over the years a lot of these tech companies coming in now who do the scheduling, don't they? The maintenance,
Yeah.
scheduling, the field service companies, etc.
Yeah.
So they came in, and companies are more and more in tune now to be using that type of technology.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to be a natural progression. It's going to happen, isn't it? Over
Yeah.
a period of time, where
Yeah.
that leaves. But we always, I'm a great people person anyway.
Yeah.
So, it does worry me. It does concern me, the future for the industry. But I'm sure it will find its own level in the fullness of
Yeah, and
fullness of time.
used for the right reasons rather
Yeah.
than wrong. So we've got this talent shortage. You go back to when you were sat in Vegas. Yeah.
It was
And
1980, not 1880, mate. 1980.
they had aeroplanes then. Yeah. You came back because you didn't know what FM was.
No clue.
And when we're talking to recruiters, when we're talking to university students,
Yep.
graduates who are coming out, we're talking to schools. They still don't know what FM is.
Let me tell you something. When I was running the facilities publication, I went to the BIFM and I said to the BIFM, I'm prepared to put a 10% levy on all of my advertising space, and I want to take that money and I want to put it towards a road show where I want to have a van, kit it out as an office, and take it round to schools and introduce FM into schools. At the time. Now I'm going back to the 80s, so early 80s. And I thought I could get some large companies to sponsor it, etc. Because everyone talks up, and this is a real bugbear of mine, that everyone talks about, we've got to educate the school leavers, etc. Look, I've got to be, again, careful what I say because I don't want to upset anybody, but I want to see actually evidence of this.
Yeah.
I want to see hardcore evidence.
Yeah.
What are we really doing to get the FM market into the schools?
Yeah. And that's where it's got to start.
Just going to a classroom once a year and talking about it, that's no good. If we really want to get people into FM and get the talent in, then we've got to invest in the youngsters. We've got to go out to the schools.
Yeah.
And we've got to make it attractive.
Yeah.
For the school leavers, etc. We do a lot with the service. I'm very proud of the work that we've done in the past with the veterans and service leavers. And we little company like us, this week in FM, done a series of road shows for 18 months in conjunction with a company called Job Oppo.
Yeah.
Lovely company. I will give them a plug. All run by ex-veterans.
Yeah.
And they actually came to us and we said we're going to take road shows. So we went out. We went to the market. The market didn't come to us. We went to the market.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we should be doing with the school leavers. Someone's got to take the lead. I'm more than happy to take the lead.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about the FM. Although I've never been involved in practicing FM. The people who have been helping me on my journey have been good people.
Yeah.
And I've got a great network of people who want to help.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to pick up the baton.
And it goes back to that collaboration, doesn't it?
Right,
it's a group of companies, and I've spoke about collaboration quite a lot over the podcasts over the last several months. And there's a shyness about collaboration within the FM industry.
There's no one more competitive than me, mate. Up until three, I would never dream of collaborating with anyone. What's mine is mine. No, I'm very. Whereas now, I'm totally. I get it now. The world's changed now. You have to move with the times. There's no point me being Laurence Allen of 1990. I've got to be Laurence Allen of 2026.
Yeah.
Different world.
Yeah, and it is, isn't it? It's a totally different world.
Well, you know what I am. Yeah, you know what I am. I am. When you're in my world, it is very dog. It is dog eat dog. Advertising, sales. It's quite a hard business to do.
Yeah.
But now, I'm all for collaboration. I get it.
Yeah.
And especially in FM. Well, there has been collaboration in the past because there's been a lot of partnering in the past, but it's never been promoted.
No.
When I first got into the industry, it took me years to really get my head around how companies can compete on one level, and then you find they're working on a contract together on another.
Yeah.
And it took me years to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, am I
Yeah.
right in saying
Yeah.
that?
Oh, absolutely. It's still happening today.
So
do you
they
know?
were collaborating
Yeah.
back when I first launched the facilities publication. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it wasn't vogue to admit to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas now the industry's changed, and I think a lot of it's to do with the mindset of thankfully the younger generation have come and have got a different mindset to perhaps
Yeah.
people of my age, maybe. Someone's driving it. Who's driving the collaboration? Who are the people behind
And that's
it?
the question: is who should be driving the collaboration? Should it be the business owners?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should it be
But
organisations?
FM is still undervalued, isn't it? You know, let's be truthful. By the actual, by the clients. Again, it's undervalued.
Yeah.
You know, there was talk that the FM should be on the boardroom. In the boardroom, FM is such a big part of the building, the costs. That
Yeah.
you should have someone sitting on the boardroom table.
Yeah.
This was years ago, you know.
Yeah. And we
Just-
do,
I
you know,
don't
with
know
some
that
of our
happens
larger
now.
clients now, we've got like the likes of property directors that are sitting, you know, in
Oh,
that
good.
boardroom,
Yeah,
and,
good.
and that is happening. But you're totally right to say that actually, you know, and I've got to be careful what I say because, you know, of clients, but you are right. Sometimes, you know, the actual role of FM and actually what we do
Cinderella.
can be totally undervalued.
They call
But
it-
the minute the lights go off, or there's no
Yes.
energy, or
Who's the first
there's
person?
no water,
Who do they scream at first of all?
who do they come to first of
That's right.
all? It's that help desk.
It's they class as is it a Cinderella service? They call
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah,
And I look at the industry, and I look at some of the companies in the industry, and they provide a fantastic service, absolutely fantastic. You know, we should be singing we should really be singing the praises of what this industry delivers. You know, because look at COVID.
yeah. The Nightingale
You
Hospital.
know, COVID and all that.
Yeah.
You know what went on there, and how we kept the buildings going through the compliance,
Yeah.
etc. And the industry does actually give back. There's a lot of companies that give back.
Yeah.
That perhaps people are not particularly recognise. But I think we should be more prouder of the industry that we're in. And not
I think it goes
talk
back to
down.
misconceptions, isn't it? Is I think there is so many misconceptions when it comes to what the FM industry actually is and what it's about.
Yeah.
So looking at the future of the skills and the development and training, we've discussed what that looks like. And realistically, where maybe organisations should go, and is that where the investment needs to be?
I think part of the investment certainly needs to be in people. Well, the thing is, see, we're at a crossroads now, aren't we? Where do companies, what they invest in? Do they invest in people? Do they invest in AI? You know, you're sitting in there on. I don't know what the answers are, Mike. In that respect, to be perfectly truthful, I think we just have to see. AI is not going to go away. Is it going to take over? If it's going to take over the role of people, therefore, do you need to train people?
Yeah.
You know, I think we're right at the beginning of this journey.
You asked me
in 2 years' time, we would be having a different conversation.
Yeah.
From what I've been told was going to happen with AI, and it's super AI coming into the fore now. I believe it's starting to happen. I think we could. It's going to be a very, very interesting conversation if we were to visit this in 2 years' time, 3 years' time.
Yeah, but then we look at what we've just been talking about introducing and bringing new people in. Yeah, the likes of the graduates, the younger people. They expect a culture in a business. Yeah. So it is all about the people. And they now, if you invite them for an interview, before they even come to the interview, they've looked at your website, they've looked at your socials to see what the culture is of the business. So if there is no development and training investment,
career path.
and there's no career path because a company isn't.
Well, they won't stay, will they? People won't stay.
Absolutely.
They when I first came into to work, you had a job for life. You know, my father worked for Otis for 40 years. You know,
Yeah.
he didn't move on.
Yeah, and
that
that
was-
longevity is
Yeah, whereas
reducing and
now,
reducing.
you know, 3 years they move on.
Yeah,
After 3 years, you know, it happens, and they get a better offer and they move on. So it's
Yeah.
not just about the money; it's
Yeah.
about the whole, especially about the social aspect of it more
Yeah.
so now. You know, with more offices, well, more people coming back now to work.
yeah,
And a lot of it, they came back, not because they particularly wanted to come back to the office, it's for the social side, because they were sitting at home in their bedrooms,
yeah,
working, and they had no social aspect,
Yeah.
whereas all their friends were
At work.
at work in the office. So
yeah.
it's that we are people, at the end of the day, people need interaction, they need a bit of banter. In the office, and that makes the world go round. In my
Yeah.
opinion, that's me talking as far as I'm concerned. Anyone
Yeah.
who knows me, they will know that's my mantra anyway.
Yeah,
But I think sometimes things can be a bit. You can overthink these things, and that, you know, most times people are very, very basic individuals. You know.
Yeah.
But it's I think the social side of it, all the bells and whistles at some of these lovely buildings. I was in a building the other day, and they had a slide. They had a slide in that's for their breakout area, an actual slide.
yeah,
You know, slide.
yeah.
I went down it.
Well, if you
obviously, I
listen
could
to
go
the
down.
diary of a CEO, that's the reason he believes his business was so successful, because they had a big blue slide.
Oh, no, really?
In the middle of the office.
Oh.
So to come from upstairs,
Yeah.
they used to come down on the slide, and that was the talk of social media that got them their recognition and their brand
Yeah.
to the level it was. So
I think
it
it's
is.
fantastic.
It's-
I love it. I love the way the world's going in terms of what we're doing. You know,
Yeah.
Look, you can go back and say, oh, the world was a better place. When I was 21. No, it's good now. It's good now. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's different. There's a lot of opportunity. I don't watch TV now. I watch YouTube. I'm podcasts. So
Yeah.
being on one is quite frightening. But Joe Rogan is one of my favourite podcasters. But I do watch a lot of podcasts, and I like the way that people. I do like generally what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Forget all the nonsense, the particular political stuff. I don't like
Yeah.
any of that. But I do generally like where we're going.
Yeah.
If my wife was on here now, she would totally disagree with me because she hates where we are. But I'm quite open. I've always been the same. I tend to embrace change
Yeah.
rather than fear it.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
I think for me at the moment is it's the opportunity. The opportunity
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
And for somebody who is trying to grow a business, the opportunity is what keeps me excited. If I looked at all the political stuff and how that is affecting the business, then we wouldn't be searching for the opportunities.
I will reference my Spurs, Tottenham Football Club, obviously.
If you have
And
to.
obviously, being a Spurs fan, my glass always have to be half full, doesn't it? Not half empty, Mike, as you can appreciate.
I can appreciate being a Leeds fan.
So coming back to that, so that's my nature. I've always been, so I look at it. Maybe I look through. Is it rose-tinted glasses? Is that the expression? I don't know. But no, I embrace it. Embrace change. Let's embrace what we do as an industry. Let's. People say about professionalise the industry. The industry is a professional industry.
Absolutely.
I'd
take that as an insult.
Yeah, it is
if
professional.
somebody said that to me.
It is a professional. Yeah, okay. It's not. There's more that we can do for sure.
Yeah.
Or the industry can do for sure.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you go into these iconic buildings in the city, or you go up to Leeds or Manchester, and you see some of the beautiful buildings that are run, the historical buildings, the new buildings. It's a privilege to be working in this industry.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to work in it. I get invited to some of the best. I wouldn't go to see some of the places I get invited to. And it's a privilege, and let's not forget that. We should be bloody proud of our industry that we work in,
Yeah.
and everybody should be proud of it. And
Yeah.
and the association should get behind the industry and really push it and drive it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there's some great characters in the industry.
Oh, 100%.
The people, you've got the new chair of Andrew, for
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
very passionate about the industry.
Yeah.
And the team around him, all the volunteers, all the IWFM regions, all these volunteers that get behind him,
Yeah.
they're professional people. They
Yeah.
want to see the industry grow.
Yeah, they want
You
to
know?
see change.
So
they
let-
want
let's-
to
so we-
drive it forward.
Yeah, so we should be proud of it, and but that should, and reflect that. But unfortunately, in certain quarters, it's the minority that pull the industry down.
Yeah.
In my opinion, from one way or the other, and they're the ones who give the industry perhaps a bad.
Yeah.
I don't think the industry's got a bad reputation, in all honesty, overall. I think the industry has got a good reputation, but we don't shout about it enough. The industry.
Yeah.
The catering industry, which I've worked in for years, they shout about how great they are.
Yeah.
Even when Jamie Oliver was doing these things about the school meals, which was actually pretty bad, but they sort of profiled it better.
Yeah.
We don't profile ourselves right.
No.
Or yeah, if that's the right terminology, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
But you know what I'm saying?
I totally agree with
Yeah,
you.
if I'm getting a bit, as I say, I'm a magazine, I'm a publisher. So what do I know at the end of the day?
But you know trends, you know what's going on, you know what's happening. You're
I'd
right
think-
to have an opinion
I'd like to
of
think so.
a industry that you've been passionate about for 30 years.
My opinion depends who I'm talking to. So I'm not stupid. It depends who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
But no, I do agree.
So moving across to your industry as a publisher, we've seen some massive transformation. So you said it at the beginning, you've had to transfer into the digital industry.
When I moved on from the magazine publishing world, I had done some consultancy work within the industry for about 3 years. I worked for a couple of clients. So I saw the other side. I actually saw, rather than writing about what goes on, I actually saw it from my own eyes, what goes on in an FM company, what goes on in a cleaning company. An eye-opener, but I realised after 3 years that media was in my blood, and I wanted to get back into media.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to come back in with another magazine, and it was just at the start of the sort of digital age. I think LinkedIn had just kicked off, Twitter at the time had just kicked off. So I always surround myself with people who make me look good. So I happened to be out with a couple of clients and friends, and they were saying, "What are you thinking of doing?" And I said, "Well, I want to come back into the marketplace." Mark Lai was one guy. I sat down with Mark Lai, and I said to Mark, "I'm thinking about coming back in. What are you looking to do?" And I said, "I'm going to bring this digital. This is the plan." And he said, "Sounds good. How are you going to do it?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to bring in a proper a digital agency to help me, because I don't know." I said, "But I'm going to look at this LinkedIn and Twitter, and I'm going to build my own brand." So people knew me in the publishing world as a magazine publisher, etc. But then when I looked at what you could do with the reach with Twitter and LinkedIn, it was apparent at that time that I could actually build a brand without actually having the product.
Yeah,
I didn't
that
have a
physical
product.
magazine.
So I just went hand in glove. I started to build my own brand. Didn't know what I was doing. It was fun. In fact, one of my handles is FM is great. FMISGR8. Well, on the first Twitter handle I had FM good. I actually forgot my other word. Things like silly things like that. But I with this week in Eve, I went out to the marketplace. I went out to see 12, 13, 14 companies who sponsored it, and I launched this week in FM. So I got off the ground, realised within 2 or 3 years that the principles of magazine publishing, some of them you can apply to digital, but you do need to bring a digital team in.
Yeah.
So I brought a digital team in, and they're the ones who really behind me who really got it. So in that period, over that period of time, I'm very much at the front, at the sharp end, at the front end, the client-facing end, I suppose. The team behind me do all the digital, the sharing, etc., my articles, what have you. But over that time, we've seen some changes. One of the big things was come about, you mentioned it earlier, about, the market, is well-being, mental health aspects of stuff, And my good friend Steve Peel, he's a big advocate of mental health. And when I've started to talk to people, I've had my issues with regard to mental health, and I'm quite happy to share my issues with mental health. Not many people know it. So I resonate with the mental health aspect of the industry and what we're involved in, And I was on I had a meeting with a lady recently, and there's a new act coming in about suicide in the workplace act.
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of it, but it's coming in. It's an act. It's a British standard. Tell a lie. It's a British standard. I'm led to believe it's coming in.
Okay.
And it's to do to advise companies with regards to well-being and to look after their
people.
Their people, basically.
Yeah.
So this came about. I had a meeting with this particular lady, a couple of weeks ago, and it was quite hard hitting when she told me her story and what she was doing and how this British standards coming about. It really resonated with me from a mental health and a suicide, and I thought, what a great idea.
Do you think that there's a lot of businesses out there that will just dismiss well-being and mental health and
I wouldn't work for a company that dismiss well-being and mental health. I think they're not the type. That's not the culture that I want to work in.
No, and it goes back to culture, doesn't it?
It's people's behaviour.
Yeah.
I don't profess to be a saint by any stretch of imagination, but when it comes to people, I would like to think that I'm compassionate, considerate.
Yeah.
See it from their point of view.
Yeah. We were talking on a different subject earlier. We were talking about empathy.
Yeah.
I think nowadays there's got to be a huge level of empathy.
All human at the end of the day. No matter if you could be the CEO of ICI or you could be a clean operative forever.
Yeah.
You're human being. We'll cry. We're sad. We'll have our ups and downs in the day.
Yeah.
But it depends on the type of person. Again, you can't teach that.
Yeah.
Can you train someone to be? Can you train that? You either got it or you haven't got it. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Or you might be able to. In my opinion, I might be totally wrong. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a professional in that. On that subject, but I always believe in treating people. Treating people well.
The trouble is, Mike, the trouble is when you're younger, and this is what I say to my grandchildren. When you're younger, you get brought up a certain way.
Yeah.
Not to lie, not to this, not to steal, etc. But then you get to a certain age, you look at the world we're in, and it's full of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the answers are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So we're sitting there, I really, it's human nature, but what we've got to try, and hopefully we're hopefully the world is becoming a better place. People are becoming a bit more understanding of people's well-being and the problems we have. I've got people. I've got friends who have suffered mental health issues in the workplace, etc., and through bullying or whatever. And it's crazy this day and age. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
it saddens me, to be honest with you.
No, and it's not the environment you want anybody to be in, within the workplace.
Listen, I will share with you, and I will share on camera. I've had some serious mental health issues. Certain people be aware of it, and I mean, when I say serious mental health issues, I mean serious mental. In fact, not of late, but I had a period of time where my life wasn't going as well as I wanted to go, and my ego got dented.
Yeah.
And my world, and the financial net was closing on me. I didn't, and the biggest thing I did not do, I didn't share it with anyone.
Yeah.
So I could have gone to my parents, I could have gone to my friends, and opened up, and I did not open up. Yeah. And I found myself on a railway station a few times, waiting for the fast train to come buy, and then I was going to do
Oh.
what I would, I share it.
Yeah.
I share
Yeah.
it. Well, obviously I didn't do it because I'm here, but I came very, very close to doing it.
Yeah.
I came close to it.
And that goes to the ups and downs of business, doesn't it? Yeah.
And also mine. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mate at the time, when you're when everyone's got a different story, but for me it was I was very, very fortunate from an early age, a lot of luck, all the, relatively successful, blah, de blah, de blah. And when that starts, you'll start to lose that. It's your ego. For me, because of the nature of who I am, it wasn't my bank balance I got then, it was my ego.
Anybody who's involved in sales has to have a level of ego. I don't care what anybody says.
No.
And if that ego is dented, and it can be from multiple different reasons, and if it isn't, we've all gone through, levels in our life where, things haven't gone, as well. But if we can't talk about them, then that's unfortunately the instance that can occur. And, we're lucky enough to still have you here today, but without that,
My two ex-wives wouldn't say that, but anyway, I don't know. But the fact is, Mike, the fact of the matter is, I'm sitting here opposite you now talking about this, right? I'll be open. Yeah. You've spoken to me about coming to doing this podcast on a few occasions, and I bat it away. But I decided to come on there, not to talk about the industry, but I wanted to talk about the mental health side of it.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
Because if by coming on here and sharing my abbreviated story.
Yeah.
With you and the viewers, if it helps save somebody who's going through it, who think, well, a minute, I can work. There is a way out.
Yeah.
But it's all about talking and sharing.
And I think if it's encouraging other business owners as well,
very much so.
That actually it's not just the
this
workers.
Yeah.
It's people who live. Let's be honest. You've lived a high profile within the FM industry. For a very long time. So if you can sit here and talk about your own issues, then hopefully the people out there who are them business owners, who are them senior people, might actually just take a little bit of sit back.
You see, when you're a business owner, with me, I talk about myself. I had friends of mine who bankers, one who's a high-level banker, a friend of mine, and he suffered from panic attacks. And I used to say to him, panic attacks? What's a bloody panic attack? And brush it aside. Well, one day I was driving the car and he was my passenger, and he had a panic attack. And I saw it for the first time. It opened my eyes to what a panic attack is. And it's similar when you've got mental health issues. Chris, you can't see it. When someone's got mental health, he's depressed, he can't get out of bed and come to work.
Yeah.
Listen, when you've had mental health issues, you look upon it a different way now.
Yeah.
So this British standard that's coming through is going to educate business owners.
Yeah.
About it's going to raise the awareness.
Yeah. And so it should.
And there's going to be certain things that they will suggest within the British standards that business owners can implement.
Yeah.
To make it a bit like any British standard.
I
don't sort of be so vague about it, but I've not. It's really in its infancy at the moment. But I'm led to believe it's coming. It's going to be launched quite
Any
shortly.
change that makes things better is great, and at the same time, if people like yourself talking, and I have had my issues over the years, and I think if we can talk about it, then it'll lead others to talk about it also.
I would have been homeless. I lost my property. I lost the built houses that I was building at the time. I had to go back. I smile about it now. I had to go back and to my parents,
Yeah.
and go back to the same room that I left in 1981
Yeah.
with me Debbie Harry pictures on the wall, and that in the same bed. It wasn't really the same. They had tied it up by then, but yeah. So that was hard.
Yeah.
But where would I have gone otherwise?
Yeah.
If I so it's
Yeah. So, just what
tough.
last bit of advice would you give anybody out there that is
Don't listen to me.
don't listen to Laurence Allen?
Don't listen to me.
What advice would you give business owners out there, but also them individuals?
I don't know about business owners, mate, but I would just generalise and just say treat people with compassion and treat everybody as a human being.
Yeah.
Whether you're a financial director, you're a CEO, or you're whatever you do in life, treat people the right way, and you will get that. You don't give to receive, but I can assure you, if you treat people the right way, it does come back.
Yeah.
And
I'm a big believer in that.
I'm everyone knows me. I'm not particularly spiritual or anything like, but I do. He says, but funny, I do believe in karma, and I know it happened. I know when I lost everything, it made me realise I take a different view on life now.
Yeah.
Beforehand, it was the cars, it was the nice restaurants and the nice lifestyle and all the rest of it. Now, it's not about that at all now. It's different now. I've got a totally different outlook on life. A different outlook on homelessness.
Yeah.
I could have been one of those, successful person everyone thought was, I could have been one of those people who would sit on the streets.
Yeah.
More humbling, more compassion.
Yeah.
But not everyone's going to do that. We've got different personalities. Not everyone. But try to be a bit more compassionate to people.
Yeah. No,
Give a little bit.
Totally agree.
Give a little bit emotionally. It's not. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything, and you will. You work. If you want to talk about work, you give a little bit. You get it back threefold with your team, with your workplace. Little things, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
But it's not.
I'm a big believer in. We've got to be empathetic. We've got to do the right thing. We've got to give them a bit of time out. Yeah, it's give them that well-being. Give them that hour maybe in a week that they can choose to.
You have to bend, and if you have to bend the rules for people.
Yeah.
This day and age, we don't have to be.
Yeah.
I've run small businesses. No doubt, it's totally different when you're a big organisation. I've never worked for one less, but just be a little bit more understanding, really, where people are. It's not all about work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is. It's not all about work.
Yeah. So pulling round to Laurence Allen. Yeah, Twin FM.
Yep.
This Week in FM. You're known for your events, your networking, and I don't normally do this, but I love this part of what you do. So this is your opportunity to have this plug, and we might be able to actually even pull some of what we've spoken about into some of them future events, and get them people from them well-being and them mental health charities to be involved.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've known you. I've known you for a very long time, since I've been about 18, I think it is.
Yeah.
But you're renowned for your events, your networking. What's to come for 2026?
It's exciting. Well, funny, where I've been today, I've been looking at some venues. It's exciting times for us for the 26. We run our events at. We do event at Gaucho's in Piccadilly, a regular networking event 4 times a year. We do the famous boat party.
Yeah.
Once a year along the Thames for 400 people. I've just organised the Christmas lunch today, which we're doing this year. We're doing some my because I'm a social animal. All the events I've done up to date have been the social events, bringing people together, etc. Networking and stuff. We've got some ideas now to move more educational. more industry topics. I've been asked by certain people to put on these events, but they're going to be more educational, more leadership type events. Yeah. So no, it's exciting. No, it is exciting. It's exciting times for us in This Week in FM, and the way that podcasts and just the way the world's going. I think it's fantastic. I'm at the sharp end with the digital stuff.
You want to be hearing what people are doing. You want to hear what's
it's-
going on. You want to understand what people want to talk about. If you're going to do them educational events,
That's right,
what
yeah.
do people want to listen to?
Yeah,
Do you know?
Laurence Allen isn't driving this. Laurence Allen drives the social ones.
Yeah.
Look, if I wasn't sitting here opposite you now, I'd be in a blue coat or a red coat at Butlins or something like that. Heidi High or something.
Yeah.
I'm a social animal, and I think the events take on the persona of whoever's running the events. So so they're social.
And I think it's whoever's there as well, isn't it?
But I've got the network I have got. I'm very privileged that I've got people around me who are senior level guys, ladies in the industry, not just men, very much so ladies in the industry, who support me and bring to the table ideas and suggestions. I'm very, 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 very fortunate, to be in this position with the network, the personal network I've got. And I say that hand on heart. I made mistakes on the way. Of course, I have done, and not everyone loves Laurence Allen, I'm sure. But I am very, very fortunate in the respect of the people I've got around me and my team, especially. I am a maverick. I come up with ideas that get there's no, Laurence, we can't do that. You've got no chance of doing that, Laurence. We can't do that. But I am for promoting my main. I want to promote the industry.
Yeah.
At the end of it, the industry's been good to me.
Yeah.
The people in the industry have been good to me. So I want to promote the industry. So that has been my that is my mantra.
Yeah.
And I'll maintain that to be the cause.
Yeah.
I don't foresee me going anywhere anytime soon. I've got another 2 years.
At least.
Yeah, I'm only 85 now. I've only got a couple of years. I feel like 85.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it keeps. I sound like an old man, but it keeps you young. It keeps you young. You're meeting people. I've got the best job in the world.
Yeah.
Because I'm helping people. People come to me and they want to meet certain clients, or they've got a new product that they want to launch, or a new service they want to launch, and it's all about conversations.
Yeah.
I can't help everybody, but and we've got the platform to do that, Mike. To do as much as we possibly can. So it is all about generally about supporting, helping. I don't like the word helping. Supporting.
Yeah.
The industry and supporting and making the industry more professionalising the industry as the best as we can. And I hope that This Week in FM goes some way to doing that. And I hope my events do bring the right people together. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think we do the best we possibly can. But we have to have fun. We have to have fun.
It's a must, isn't it?
And I don't deal with miserable people. If I go into, people know me. If you have an online call with me, then be prepared, because you'll never have a similar call with anyone else again.
Yeah.
Because the first question I ask before I even talk to you is, what are you into?
Yeah.
Is it rugby, cricket, football, athletics,
as it should be,
red wine?
Yeah.
That's the And then on the back of that, I can take the mickey out of any Arsenal fans. I had to get that in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I look forward to supporting you in 2026. I look forward to spending time with you and the team.
Yeah, reluctantly, I hasten to add, but you got there in the end.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Penguin Podcast, brought to you by Penguin Facilities Management.